For those of you who are embarking on your college journey, we know that it can be confusing. You've probably seen descriptions of all the things you need to do during your senior year and the time frame for when those things need to get done. It can feel really overwhelming, but there are tools and strategies that can help get you through. Today, we're going to be talking about a couple of online tools that can really make a difference in reducing your out-of-pocket college costs. And believe me, if you can reduce your reliance on student loans, you'll definitely consider that to be an admission success. Right now, you should be finalizing your college shortlist. That is the list of colleges you're planning on applying to. Traditionally, students and parents focus on finding colleges that are a good academic fit and personal fit. In other words, they focus on finding colleges that offer the right major and that have the other things that students are interested in: campus culture, extracurriculars, and all this is important to consider. But what Mark and I are going to focus on today is another important element, that the colleges on your shortlist should be the right financial fit for your budget. And interestingly enough, if you find colleges that are a good financial fit for you, that also ends up working in your favor when it comes to admission chances as well. So let's look at what we're going to cover today. We'll start by talking a bit about creating your college shortlist, and then we'll provide a brief overview about financial aid, because Mark and I will be using some terminology about financial aid that you'll need to know. So I want to be sure that we all have some of the same basics down. Next, we'll discuss how to select colleges that fit your budget and how you can use TuitionFit to help you make those decisions. Then we'll talk about how you can use scholarships to further bring down your college cost. We're going to wrap up with a live Q&A where you can get all of your questions answered. And then for those who stay for the entire webinar, we'll also have a couple of special thank you gifts, but we're going to talk more about that at the end of the webinar. So I want to start by just talking very briefly about selecting colleges that are the right fit for you. As you all probably know, you need to consider your academic fit. Which colleges offer your major, your career goals, your personality, your likes and dislikes, etc. The campus culture, social opportunities, and access to internships are also important. But let's face it, with everything going on today with COVID-19, some of these variables are a bit less important now, because most of the colleges are offering only online instruction right now, and many of the universities will continue offering online instruction in the spring as well. Hopefully we will have a vaccine by fall 2021, but who knows? So we all need to be prepared for the possibility that we'll be dealing with this pandemic longer than any of us wants to. So in addition to looking at the things that students have historically considered, we also recommend that you seek out colleges who are succeeding with online education and who are succeeding in providing online student support services as well. And there's another area you need to consider that I alluded to earlier: selecting colleges that are the right financial fit for you. Financial fit relates to both sticker price and actual price. This is always important, but in an era where much of higher education is taking place online, it takes even greater precedence, because the on-campus bells and whistles that have traditionally been important to students simply are not happening right now. So all of these things together will help you to decide which colleges to apply to. But as you'll see going forward in our presentation today, both Mark and I feel that you need to give financial fit a larger weight in this decision process. With that in mind, I'm going to briefly go over the basics about financial aid so that we're all on the same page for the rest of our presentation. According to the College Board, the average cost of attending an in-state public university in the United States is about $25,000 per year. Multiply that by 4, and you'll see that the average cost for a bachelor's degree is about $100,000 if you attend a public in-state university. The average cost of attending an out-of-state public university is about $42,000 per year, or multiplied by 4, that's $168,000 for a 4-year degree. And the average cost of attending a private university in the United States is about $52,000 per year. So multiplied by 4, that means the average cost of a bachelor's degree at a private university is going to top $200,000. Of course, these numbers are the sticker price cost of attendance and not the dollar amounts that students actually pay. Because of course, many students are awarded federal or state financial aid, and many students receive scholarships as well. So actual out-of-pocket cost may be considerably less. But even with financial aid and scholarships, students and parents often have to take out loans to cover an extensive portion of education costs. To determine your financial need, the college's financial aid representative uses a simple equation. They subtract your expected family contribution or EFC, from the total cost of attendance, or COA. The result is your financial need. So COA minus EFC equals financial need. So if the total cost of attendance of your intended university is $35,000 a year, and if your expected family contribution is $10,000, then your financial need is $25,000. You might be wondering how the colleges determine your EFC. After all, how can they know what you and your family can afford? Your EFC is determined when you submit the FAFSA. That's why it's so important that all students submit the FAFSA. You're probably also wondering, will all colleges provide enough grants and scholarships to cover your financial need? The answer to that is no. Most colleges do not. And it is also important to remember that even if your EFC is $10,000, it doesn't mean that you and your family can actually afford to pay $10,000 for your first year of college. Wouldn't it be nice if while you're creating your college shortlist, you could have a better idea of what your financial aid and scholarship offer might be from each of the colleges you're considering? Interestingly enough, there is a way that you can do just that. And Mark from TuitionFit is going to tell us all about it right now. Okay, Mark, it's up to you.
Okay, thanks, Jen. So I'm going to do this just very quickly. I'm going to turn my camera on just so that people know that there's a face connected to the voice. Hello, everybody. This is really fun. Thanks for letting me be a part of this. So as Jen said, it is really, as she described with the formula that she showed you, cost really can be all over the place because you've got the sticker price the school offers. You've got what the federal government says is your expected family contribution, which may not look anything like what you actually think you're able to pay. And then you have the remaining financial need. And most colleges and universities don't come close to giving you enough money to cover all of that difference. So as you're looking for schools, it becomes incredibly important to see if you can figure out which schools would fit your budget, which schools are going to fit your price range at the very beginning of the process. And what in the context of the world that we live in today, more than ever, it's incredibly important to, as you're looking at schools and thinking about that short list, to make sure that you're maximizing value and minimizing price, getting the most you possibly can out of an institution for the lowest possible price. Because if you do that, you won't have to borrow as much, if any, and you will be in a better position when you finish and when you graduate. So let's talk a little bit, first of all, about what is it that we want to use to think about how do we ensure that the final college list you put together fits your price range. So the first point that I think is really important is to zoom out just a little bit and remember that you may have a long-term goal that's going to include more than just going to undergrad. You may have plans to be in the healthcare profession, or you may have plans to go into finance, or go into some other field, maybe be a lawyer, where you will need graduate school, and graduate school is expensive. And it's important just to put that in the context to remember you can't spend all of the money that you would possibly allocate for college in undergrad. You're going to need some of that for graduate school. So keep that in mind as you start thinking about what is your price range. And then you can start to focus on colleges where your actual price fits your price range and that bigger picture. So at TuitionFit, what we did was to say, why don't we build a single data set from all of the actual financial aid offers that students receive, and then make it possible for students to look at that same list. And instead of guessing what your price might be, you can actually see what other students have been offered. Other students just like you, meaning other students with the same academic profile, like a similar high school GPA and a similar test score, if you have one, which is now a real big if these days. And if you have the similar student as the same EFC, so a similar financial status, which is the other way that colleges determine what prices they want to give you. So at TuitionFit, we built a way for you. If you create a profile, you can come onto TuitionFit and you can find a list of colleges that would fit your price range. You set up your profile and then you'll see a list of schools, and all those schools came from financial aid awards that students just like you shared with us just in this last year. And then you can move that filter across the top and see what schools would be in your price range. You can also upgrade if you want for a small fee to look at all of the actual prices and the way that all of those awards were constructed, whether they have more loans in them, whether they have a lot of money in the first year and then some of that scholarship money goes away in the second year, which is something that is not entirely unheard of. There are a lot of schools that do what's called front loading. Now, once you are entering your senior year, and for those of you that are beginning your senior year now, this is when you really can make the most use of TuitionFit, because as soon as you start to receive financial aid awards and acceptance letters, if you upload them to TuitionFit, you get access to the whole thing for free. It's a free exchange where you share an award letter, and then all of the students just like you who've also shared award letters, you get to see what each other's got. But we've anonymized all of the data and we've protected all of your individual identities. So you're just seeing data and prices that were awarded to students just like you. And what that allows you to do is to compare offers and see if your offer looks like a pretty good one or maybe not so great. And then you can use this information to negotiate. And if there's one thing I want to make sure everybody knows, most colleges and universities today will negotiate with you. So you can ask them for a better price after they send you an award letter. That's just the nature of the beast. And it is something that you really need to know, because that can save you a lot of money. So when you use TuitionFit as a senior, you see in the top half of this snapshot of a screen from a student, she uploaded 4 award letters, and then she's seeing all the other offers that other students just like her have shared. And as a function of this, in this student's case, she saw another university not very far away. She hadn't initially applied there, but then when she saw that it was $2,500 a year cheaper, she made a few phone calls, and she's now saving $10,000 in college over 4 years just because she could see this information. And otherwise, she would never have known had she not used TuitionFit. So when you use TuitionFit, and as seniors, if you've got award letters coming in, especially if you send some out in October and get them to rolling admission schools that will get decisions back to you right away, that means you can upload that data right away, and through your entire senior year, use this tool so that you can see the actual prices, and then you can focus on value and find the school that can give you the best experience for the lowest price. It's free if you upload an award letter, and there's a small fee if you want to use TuitionFit to get at that extra data without a financial aid award letter. Back to you, Jen.
All right. Thanks, Mark. I'm sure a lot of students have questions about TuitionFit, so I'm curious to see what they're going to talk about, because I think
Me too.
It's very exciting. So we're going to switch gears just a little bit, and we're going to talk about another way that you can maximize value and minimize cost, and that is, of course, applying for scholarships. So there are 3 types of scholarships. Scholarships that are offered directly by the universities you applied to, and these scholarships are part of the financial aid offer from each college, so you've already heard a little bit about them from Mark. You can also apply to scholarships offered by organizations in your own local community. So you can ask your guidance counselor about these scholarships, as most high schools and colleges have lists of these scholarships available if you just ask. And then you can also apply for private scholarships offered by organizations and companies that are outside your local community. So these are either referred to as third-party scholarships or private scholarships. And so that's what I'm going to be focusing on here. I'm often asked how to find those third-party scholarships. Most students search for scholarships online using Google or by visiting any number of websites that discuss scholarships. If you've tried this, you'll know the process is typically overwhelming and time-consuming, which explains why students often give up on searching for scholarships. It can be really frustrating. And of course, since seniors are super busy applying for colleges as well as working hard in school and preparing for graduation, it can be difficult to summon up the energy to also search for scholarships, let alone apply to them. And that brings me to ScholarshipOwl. ScholarshipOwl is a one-stop scholarship application system that enables you to view scholarships you've been matched to, select the ones you want to apply to, and then you can also apply to them all from within the platform. So instead of Googling for scholarships or using multiple scholarship sites to find scholarships, you can just launch ScholarshipOwl and do all of your work in one place. There are a number of dashboard strategy tools that you can also use here that will help you increase your chances of earning a scholarship. I talk to a lot of students who are considering joining ScholarshipOwl, and they often ask me what the platform looks like and how it works. So in just a few slides, I'm going to give you a sense of what you'd experience with our platform if you're not yet a member. So here's what the dashboard looks like. It shows all of your scholarship matches. You can see that in my sample membership here, there are 488 scholarships that I've been matched to. When you use ScholarshipOwl to apply for scholarships, you actually don't have to complete any scholarship application forms at all, which I know sounds kind of crazy, but you don't. This is because when you create your ScholarshipOwl platform at the very beginning, when you set up your ScholarshipOwl profile, the relevant information in your profile automatically populates the application form for every scholarship in our system, so that you won't have to spend time completing your name, your contact information, name of your college and your major, all of that stuff that every scholarship application always asks for. All of that would be done automatically for you by our system. The information in your profile is also what we use to match you to scholarships, because even though in this example, I've been matched to 488 scholarships, there are actually hundreds more scholarships in our system. But based on my profile information, I'm not eligible for all of them. So now when I look at my dashboard, I'll know that I'm eligible to apply for every single scholarship in the list. This really saves time and effort because the search and match process has already happened. Now I can just focus on applying. I can also sort my matches, as you can see here, enabling me to have my matches presented in the way that I prefer. So let's see what happens when I select a scholarship from the list. So in my example here, I selected the Cottage and Bungalow Scholarship, and I can now view some important details. I can see that the scholarship deadline is in 4 days. So if I want to apply, I know I need to prioritize this particular scholarship. I can see the scholarship dollar amount and know that so far, 95 students in the platform have applied for this particular scholarship. I can see that there is one scholarship requirement, an essay. And if I look further down the page, I can see the essay prompt, the maximum word count, etc. I can click write an essay, and I can by clicking write an essay, I can use ScholarshipOwl's internal text editor to write and edit the essay right in the platform. And that text editor is very similar to Google Docs, so it'll be very comfortable for those of you who want to use it. Or I can write the essay separately and upload it instead. I can also see the credibility score is 96%, which is really high. The higher the credibility score, the more confident I can feel that this scholarship is worth my time and effort. ScholarshipOwl automatically determines the credibility of each scholarship in the platform based on what happens during our scholarship vetting process. In the far upper right corner, I can pick the scholarship as one that I'm interested in, or I can ignore it, which will hide the scholarship from my list of matches. I can also flag it if there's something that concerns me about the scholarship, letting the ScholarshipOwl team know that they might want to investigate further. My picked scholarships can be viewed at any time by clicking the Picked tab on the left. This makes it super easy to favorite several scholarships that I'm interested in and then come back later to apply to them. And if I look at the other available tabs, I can click to see which applications I started but haven't yet finished. I can see which ones I already submitted, and I can also see which ones I chose to ignore, just in case I want to change my mind and add them back to my list of matches. All of these tools make it easier to hone in on the scholarships that interest me most and apply to them more quickly. Here's another great tool I want to point out. At the top of the tabs, I can check to see which scholarships have been recommended to me. So let's take a look at that. ScholarshipOwl automatically sends each user a short list of recommended scholarships each week. We select these scholarships just for you based on the factors listed in the lower left of the screen. And we will be launching an application update very soon that will take us even further using artificial intelligence, or AI, to make our recommendations even more personalized to you. In other words, your activity and habits within ScholarshipOwl will train our recommendation system to select scholarships that are similar to the ones that you've already picked and applied to. Because as you can imagine, it can feel a bit overwhelming to see a list of over 400 matches. How do you even know where to start? With our recommended scholarships, you can always start here. And then after you've applied to your recommended scholarships, you can apply to more scholarships on your list. So what do all of these dashboard tools do for you? They simplify and focus your application process. They boost your chances by making it faster and easier to apply for more scholarships more often. And they help you decide which scholarships are worth your time and energy. Because in addition to increasing the quantity and frequency of your applications, it makes so much more sense to focus on applying to scholarships that are the most relevant ones to you, credible, and have fewer applicants. Essentially, ScholarshipOwl is a productivity tool that helps increase your odds of earning scholarships, because we all know it is so overwhelming to apply for scholarships. In fact, it's so overwhelming that most students either don't apply to any at all, or perhaps they only apply to just a few. But students who truly take advantage of the tools within ScholarshipOwl can have great success. As an example, one student applied to lots of scholarships in our system over just 3 months' time, and so far he's already received $6,000 in scholarships for those efforts. And I should note that he applied to scholarships before finding ScholarshipOwl, and he didn't receive any of them. So ScholarshipOwl really can make a meaningful difference. If you're a ScholarshipOwl member and haven't tried applying to very many of the scholarships in our system, you should definitely do so. And for those of you who are not yet members, you can get started with a free trial to see if you find our platform valuable. And that brings us back to what we've really been talking about today: maximizing value and minimizing cost. So as a thank you for attending this webinar, we're offering a couple of free things for you, or I should say a free thing and then another opportunity. So first, we're offering this Success Tools and Strategies cheat sheet, an invaluable tool that you can use to help you understand college costs and plan for ways to reduce them via maximizing value and minimizing price with TuitionFit, as well as through applying for scholarships with ScholarshipOwl. This is the ideal companion for this webinar, and I know you're going to find it to be a helpful resource. And then Mark has an offer for you as well. Mark, do you want to talk about it?
Sure. Thanks, Jen. So if you go to TuitionFit and create an account and you do not yet have an award letter to share, but you want to access the premium detailed data, usually that's $49 for just to purchase that access. And it's just a one-time fee. But with the promo code on the screen, ScholarOwl10 off, you can get $10 off that upgrade. So it'll only cost you $39. So when you go on, create the account, and when you are purchasing that upgrade, you'll just plug this code in and it'll give you a $10 discount.
That's awesome. And we will go ahead and put that in the chat a little later for you, but we do want to get to our live Q&A. So Adrian, do you want to start?
No, thank you. I see a lot of question here. People asking questions like, oh, how much does ScholarshipOwl cost and things like that. And, we're launching a competition on Wednesday, which I really recommend everyone to join. And what Jen is talking about, maximizing. So right now, ScholarshipOwl is matching your winnings, so up to $1,000. So if you win a scholarship through our platform, through some organization, and let's say you win $1,000, we will, in addition, on top of that $1,000, give you $1,000. So that is no-brainers to apply through our platform. That is a really good value proposition. So what we've been doing is that we're launching a competition on Wednesday. We give you 3 opportunities to win. So sign up for a trial. You don't need to have a paid subscription to be a part of this competition. But what the competition will do is this: you will get 1 ticket for every scholarship you apply through our platform, and then you have to post it on social media, on our social media. And what we'll do is we'll go through and we'll pick winners. And we're offering Apple iPad, the new one. We're offering the new Apple Watch, and we're also offering Scholarship Owl for free. And we're also offering a free consultation with Jennifer. And, you know, so this gives you multiple ways to win. It gives you the opportunity to win some new Mac products, Apple products, and it also gives you the opportunity to win because you're applying through our platform. Plus, we will match your winnings if you win. And it just can't get better than that. So if there's any time you guys want to maximize your chances to win something, now is the time to apply. So go to our blog. We will also send an email. You're probably on our email list, but the competition is going to start on Wednesday. Having said that, we are going to open up for questions right now. Keep it really relevant to everybody, hopefully. And I will take you guys in the queue. You've been raising your hand, and we prioritize people who have a camera and a mic. So I will just start going through the list, and you can ask any questions related to education.
And if you know who you want to answer the question, if you know you want Mark to answer, please ask it to him. And if you want me to answer, ask it to me. And if you don't say, then Adrian will just throw it to the panel and we'll figure it out.
We'll throw it to the panel. So in the meantime, okay, so people are joining the room. Hi, Seth.
Hey, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. How are you?
I'm great. I just want to say thank you for everything you do. And I have about 10 questions, but I'm going to cut it as short as possible. So I'm a high school senior in Birmingham, Alabama, and I've applied for several scholarships over the past couple of years with y'all. And I have emails that say I qualify for $18,000 and I qualify for so much money. And I was wondering, how can I attain that money, that scholarship money?
Yeah, it's a good question. You know, what happens here is that so what we are doing, we are basically just aggregating scholarships. So Scholarship Owl, we don't own the scholarship itself. And some of them, you deserve a scholarship. We are the one that awards that. And so we are on the mercy of these organizations that are offering scholarships. And keep in mind that these are private scholarships and not public ones. And some of them, to be completely honest, are a little shady, which is why we now have an algorithm to take away. There was some noise there. Was going to take away the fraudulent scholarships, but they don't always communicate the winners, and they don't always communicate where they are at in the process of picking a winner. So you would have to contact them directly in order to know where they're at with picking winners. It might be on when you're in a Scholarship Owl, there should be a link to that scholarship provider. And if you click that, you should land on their page, and it might have a status update and it might not have. It's a jungle out there. Some of the serious ones typically will broadcast if they have awarded a winner or not. Am I correct, Jennifer?
Yeah, some of them will, but sometimes they just list it on their website when they've selected winners. What I recommend when I work with students is I always tell them when you've applied to a scholarship to keep a list of those scholarships. Right now within Scholarship Owl, you can see all your submitted applications, so you'll know what you've applied to, and then you can check back and see if the deadline has passed, if they've awarded or not. If you've applied to scholarships outside of Scholarship Owl, then what you're going to want to do is keep a list, just like create a little spreadsheet for yourself, write down the scholarships you've applied to, the date you applied, and then write the deadline so that you'll know, because it could be you applied to something and maybe they're not going to pick a winner for 6 months, right? So just because you haven't heard back doesn't mean that you haven't won a scholarship, but you need to check the deadlines. I don't know what you've applied to already, but some scholarships are the ones that are more like a lottery where you don't have to write an essay. Those scholarships are really easy to apply to. They take literally seconds to apply for in our platform, but they're a lot more competitive because everyone wants the easy scholarships. So, you're competing with thousands of people, whereas if you apply for an essay scholarship, you might be competing with 100 people, which is a lot of people, right? So those are the kinds of things you want to look at when you're making decisions about where to apply.
And I have been a member of Scholarship Owl for a couple of years now, and I'm pursuing a goal of becoming a meteorologist, and I have a backup plan of firefighting and architect. And do you know if Scholarship Owl has any water scholarships like the National Water Service or NOAA or anything to deal with weather that they have to offer?
It might be there, but I wouldn't know without looking in the database myself right now, which obviously I can't because we're in the webinar. What I would suggest is that you can contact customer service and they'd be able to help you with that and be able to tell you if there are those kinds of scholarships because they can check the system.
Okay.
And then you said you're a high school senior right now?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so have you already started applying to scholarships? Or not scholarships, I'm sorry, applying to colleges?
This Saturday, I will start to apply to colleges that offer atmospheric sciences and meteorology.
Awesome. So you're going to listen to what Mark suggested about figuring out where to get your best financial fit when you do that?
I came in kind of late, but I got the majority of it. I'm gonna listen to the recording of the webinar, and I'm gonna continue to look out for the emails, and I want to participate in that. What you have to offer Wednesday. So, do I have to upload the pictures of my scholarships I applied for in order to be included on the Facebook page of Scholarship Owl?
We're going to have all the details in a post that we send out. We're still working out the details ourselves, actually. So we haven't. You guys, everybody that's here today, you are the only ones who know that we're running this competition.
Yeah, you're the only one who knows.
We're launching it officially on Wednesday. So I'm sure you're going to get an email from Scholarship Owl, so you'll hear all about it. But it's easy to enter. You just have to apply for scholarships to do it. That's all.
Yes, and I know your time is valuable. Can I get your email again, Ms. Jennifer? I wrote it down, but I can't seem to find it. Can I email you some questions?
I will, Adrian, maybe you can put that in the chat.
Yeah, I can do that. We really, what you have to do is just support at scholarshipowl.com.
Scholarship Owl?
Yeah, and then in there, just say that this is a question for Jennifer.
All right, because I emailed them something. I'm trying to remember. It was the other day. They said they don't do something, but when I get it to you, I send a screenshot it to you or something because I know I took a screenshot of it.
All right, and I know you have a lot more questions, but I'm happy to talk to you about it over email. But we've got to get some other students. So
thank you all. I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Seth.
Good luck, Seth.
Alicia, do you have any questions?
I have two questions specifically. The first question regarding the early admissions process. If I apply to a school with a binding early decision policy, is it still possible to apply to other schools with early action policies? I know that if you apply to a school with a binding early decision policy, it's not possible to apply to other schools with other binding decision policies. But what about early action policies?
Mark, do you want to take that one or should I?
Why don't we tag team? Okay. I'll give her the good news. With early action, you have a lot more flexibility. So with early action, it just means they'll give you a decision, but you are not bound in the same way that early decision is. It says, if you get accepted, you have to say, I'm going to come unless there's some major financial issue. So early action gives you a lot more flexibility. And early decision is something that you really should think very, very carefully about taking that approach, because it does have consequences if you turn out not to be the school that you thought it was or change your mind.
Yes, unfortunately, currently the top school that I'm considering right now has an early decision policy. So, if I apply to that college, I wouldn't be able to apply to any other colleges, regardless of whether they're early action or early decision.
Well, so there are different schools have different little caveats in here, but the early decisions that I have seen, basically you can apply to multiple schools, but if you've got one of those schools is an early decision, once that decision comes back to you, if it's a yes, then you have to tell all those other schools, thanks, but I'm no longer in your mix, and you're going to accept the offer from the school that you applied early decision. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so that would mean I can apply to other early action policy schools
absolutely,
along with the early decision school. But if early decision school accepts, then I can't go to any other schools. Right.
Then you have to say essentially yes. And only in some circumstances can you sort of back out of it. And it really has to be for financial reasons, you have to be able to back out and you have to be able to demonstrate that. There are a lot of opinions about early decision and early action. So one thing that I would suggest you consider, Alicia, is to jump on TuitionFit and at least use it to try to get some sense of what kind of prices a student like you would get from in that institution, because you don't want to end up in a situation where you've spent money applying to a school and time and then find out you got in, but the price tag is way beyond what you would be able to afford, right? Then it feels like, well, you just wasted all kinds of time. And that's what TuitionFit was designed to help you get around. So you could see what your situation would be like ahead of time. So you might consider using TuitionFit that way. And you can, like we mentioned earlier, there's a couple of different ways, but it sounds like you're a senior. So you could use TuitionFit this year and get at a lot of different data there that would really help you answer some of the questions that you're concerned about. But to answer the primary question that sounded like you were asking, you can apply to multiple schools that are early decision and early action all at the same time. No problem there. But the early decision policy generally is, once we tell you that we've accepted you, then you agree to tell all the other schools you've applied to, sorry, I'm pulling my application from you because I have agreed to go to the school that accepted me early decision. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense.
Okay.
My second question, can I still ask you, or should I
I think it's quick.
You're good.
Okay.
They're good questions.
Okay. Yeah. I was recently accepted to the National Rural and Small Town Recognition Program from College Board. Have you heard of that? I don't know. So it seems pretty new.
Yeah,
I've heard of it. I don't know a lot about it. What did you get when you were accepted? Chocolates, flowers, some money, what happened?
They basically emailed me and said I was accepted and that there are budget benefits like putting on my application and stuff. But I don't know, is there anything more than that? Since I know that there was previously a National Hispanic Recognition Program, but do the same benefits apply? Is there a different situation? I don't know, since it seems really new.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I would, if you have the chance to sit down with somebody who's maybe a school counselor who sort of knows some stuff, or you could jump on, with somebody where you can just sort of say, where do these documents come from? There are a whole bunch of organizations out there that send you a letter that say, you are a member of the left-handed 5'3" with a slight twinkle in your eye category. And therefore, here's a plaque. And oh, by the way, send us $25 and you can be this other thing. And they kind of feel kind of scammy. But then there's others of them that are legitimate and it's a real thing. And it's really trying to help students that rural students tend to have a harder time getting to see colleges and really get as many opportunities to see things as students that go to larger suburban high schools. So some of those things are actually pretty useful. You said this was from the College Board. Maybe means it might have some legitimacy, but
it sounds legitimate if it came from them.
Right.
Yeah, I would see it. So probably going to the College Board website is going to be a good way to deal with that, because they probably have some information on their website about it.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I'll talk to my counselor about it. I was planning to, but she's not very quick to respond to messages.
Well, they're overwhelmed right now.
Yeah.
They really are. They're absolutely, they got flooded with all these questions because it's all extraordinary. Everything has changed. The whole rule book has changed. So I think even the counselors themselves doesn't always know where this is going. And it's kind of a little uncertain. But I have a question that Mark and Jen, it's very interesting. Okay, so if you agree to early admission, how do they know? If they give you the offer first, maybe you should wait a little bit to get more offers and then tell them, how do I know if you cancel the other or not? Maybe you should wait a couple of weeks and see if more comes in and then tell them well, I already accepted. You know what I'm saying? Isn't there a way around that?
Quick about early decision. And that's why I personally rarely recommend that someone pursues early decision. I recommend early action if the college offers it. And if not, then certainly regular decision. But basically, early decision is intended to be binding. So basically what you're supposed to do is kind of take your moonshot and say, okay, I really want to go to Yale, and that's my first choice. And if they make me an offer for admission, I'm going to take it. And I don't really have to worry about what my financial aid offer is. I don't have to do things like go on TuitionFit and compare a bunch of offers and select schools that way, because I know that I'm going to go to Yale, and I can afford.
And I can write a check for whatever they charge me, right?
That's really what we're hoping for.
Of course.
Colleges that offer early decision love that. But for the average student, that's not really feasible. And so I usually don't recommend students apply anywhere early decision unless they know financially that they can handle it. And financially could be maybe the family has enough money. It also could be that maybe the student already knows they got a bunch of scholarships. And so maybe, maybe there's both savings and scholarships already, or maybe the student knows they're going to qualify for federal and state grants. So there could be lots of reasons a student could feel that they could already afford the school, but most students need financial help. That's probably most of you watching, because otherwise, why would you be coming to this webinar, right? So that's my thought about early decision. But can I ask, for future students that are going to ask us questions, can you guys put your cameras on? It's so much more satisfying to see some faces.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, there.
Hey, and a ceiling.
There we go.
Hey, there we go. Awesome.
All right. So who's next?
Isabel.
Okay, hi. I'm currently a sophomore in high school, and I wanted to know if I would be restricted to any scholarships, or if I'm restricted from applying to colleges at this age.
Okay. So I'm going to take this one if that's all right.
Absolutely.
So as far as applying as a sophomore in high school, you're in high school right now? Is that right? Okay. So you would not be applying to colleges until your senior year of high school, but you can apply for scholarships now. There are a lot of scholarships in our database that you would be eligible for. And I think it's a great strategy to apply to scholarships early. Why not? Why not start applying now, apply for some every year, and then by the time you get to your senior year, you're already hopefully going to have some money set aside that you already have. So I highly recommend that students apply for scholarships earlier than senior year if you can.
But you are not really able to apply to college as a sophomore in high school. If you were to submit something, they would probably just call you up and nicely say, thank you, but we will put this in the drawer for a couple of years. Yeah. So, and you're going to want to wait anyway, because when you are a senior, you'll have a lot more to talk about in your essays. You'll have a lot more to say about your transcript. You'll have a better application to put forward anyway. So it's smart to be thinking about it now. It's actually really smart to be thinking about it now, because you can kind of strategize now, because you've got a couple of years to play with, both in terms of, what do you want to have on your resume when you start applying to college, and how am I going to pay for it? Well, like Jen said, get in there and start applying to some scholarships now and put those in the kitty, and use TuitionFit if you want to identify the schools that would be in your price range, so that then you're already thinking about, okay, these are the schools that are already going to fit the price range that I know I have set. And now I'm applying for some scholarships. By the time you get to your senior year, you very well could be in a place where your costs could be really low by comparison, because you've been planning ahead.
Definitely. All right. So thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
Who's next?
Isaiah, you're next. And I see that your mic is not turned off. So if you can somehow turn on your mic, there you go.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Hey. I'm sorry. My phone dropped connection, so I came on my brother's one. But first of all, thank you all for hosting this tonight. My question is, I was a senior. I graduated earlier this year, but because of COVID and everything, I wasn't really comfortable leaving. And I hear a lot of talking about applying for scholarships in colleges in your senior year. I didn't do that. I didn't really, I feel like I had no help or not all the resources to do that. So I still want to go to college, but like, I'm like, is it too late for me to apply or to get some scholarships or like in-state scholarships help?
It's not too late.
Not at all.
Yeah. Can I ask, are you in college now or are you taking time off?
I'm finishing up at technical school,
Okay.
Okay.
Great. What are you studying in technical school?
culinary arts.
Okay.
Wow.
Awesome.
Awesome.
So you're looking for scholarships for culinary, or did you want to then go to a different college?
I want to sit somewhere in culinary if possible, but it's hard. I live here in Georgia, so it's not really too many culinary schools per se in this area. So I thought maybe something like hospitality or education, I can put those both together, but that's kind of been hard to find here.
Mhm.
Okay. So the first thing I guess that I would say is if you're looking for scholarships for your current technical school that you're attending, one of the first things you should do is talk to the financial aid office at your current school and see if they have different kinds of scholarships that you could apply for, because sometimes the schools themselves do have scholarships. And then also you can get scholarships through our platform that would work for technical schools, maybe not all of them, but some of them would. And then as far as the colleges, if you want to apply to colleges, if you want to stay in Georgia, obviously you can look there to see what colleges offer culinary arts. A lot of community colleges offer culinary arts. And so that's something I would suggest too, because that's a very inexpensive way to get culinary training. And it's usually a lot less money than going to technical school. So that would be my first thought. A lot of the schools that do offer something related to culinary are going to be more like hospitality management or hotel and restaurant management. Those are the kinds of job titles, kinds of majors you would look for. But some of those schools don't really have a lot of culinary. They're more focusing on sort of theory and business and how to run a restaurant. So you have to decide for yourself if those programs are going to meet your needs, or if you'd be better staying in a culinary arts program, either at a community college or technical school. So those are my thoughts. Yeah. But it's not too late to apply for scholarships. So don't worry, you didn't miss the boat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we get that question a lot. It's like, should I apply before or during or after? Like when should you start applying? And it's like what they both said: start applying now.
Yeah.
And always apply. It's an ongoing thing.
Yeah, you are. You're in the
we are. Yeah. It's also like I would say it, and this is really, really important, because we see on our platform we had thousands and thousands of users going through our platform, or hundreds of thousands. We have 6 million people on our platform, and we can clearly see that the people who win scholarships are the one that keeps applying. And it's almost like when you're applying for a job, you don't send out one application and wait 2 weeks and, I didn't get it. And then you send another one. You send out 100 applications and you start going out for interviews. It's the same thing. Apply for everything you have time for. And just go out there everywhere, public, private, all kinds of scholarships that you can find. For example, we have futuremindfunds.org, which is a platform we made to help people who got affected by COVID-19. And we're shocked how many people on our platform don't even go there and apply. It's a really high ratio. We have awarded, I think, almost like 20 winners now. And you can also get direct donation on the platform. So there are so many. So we are trying to help students and get visibility to the whole jungle out there with scholarships, because and like we mentioned before, and I can say his name. His name is Jordan. He won $6,000 in 3 months, and all he did was apply. And a lot of people don't do it. And another trick, and Jennifer was always telling people that, it's like, if you just recently applied for a university, use that same essay to apply for scholarships, repurpose it. So there's a lot of things you can do, but I can tell you this, that most of the people don't apply. They apply for 1 or 2 and that's it. If you go out there and you apply for 30 to 100, you have just upped your chances 100 times to win a scholarship. Don't give up. I would apply constantly through the 4 years that you were going through your education.
For sure.
Thank you so much. Yes, sir. Thank you all.
All right. Who is next?
There is a few people waiting here. So again, for those people, we are running a competition that starts on Wednesday to help you guys. Make sure that you guys read our blog or read your email. It's going on Wednesday to kickstart the competition. So we're excited. We're super excited. Let's do another question here while we're waiting for people coming in. We always get this every time. How about people who are not in the USA? Do you qualify for scholarships?
All right, so I'll take that one. I literally answer this question at every webinar, I think, and that's fine. There are scholarships that are available for international students. However, the best scholarships for international students always come from the universities themselves. That's where you kind of get the most bang for your buck. Private scholarships, you can get some, but it's just not as plentiful and they're maybe not as big. So that's just something to keep in mind. The other thing is that international students always ask, how can I get a full ride scholarship? It's a very popular question. Those of us who are in the United States, we want full ride scholarships too. Everybody wants one, but it's very hard to get a full ride scholarship. There are some universities that do offer what they call a full tuition scholarship. And so you may be able to qualify for that depending on the criteria that they're looking for the students that they're going to be offering that to. But most students do not get a full tuition scholarship. And even those who do still do have to pay for their room and board and other essentials, their books and supplies and things like that. So, to be honest, most universities, they are looking for international students that have funding to come here to study. They're not looking to give free education outside of the university. So that's just something to be aware of, but they do offer scholarships to international students, and there are scholarships in our platform for international students. Okay.
Cool. Next. So let's see, we have Isaiah. I hope I said that name correct. I see your mic is turned off, so if you somehow can. Okay, so while Isaiah is trying to get his mic ready, we're going to move on to Diana. Diana. And Diana, if you can turn on your camera, that would be really, really nice. We like to see people.
I've already asked my question. I don't know how to leave the screen part.
Oh, okay. All right. I just don't see you in the room here for some reason. So there must be a glitch. Where?
Okay.
Yeah, it's you're literally disappeared from the room now. So, okay.
Good.
Yes. Okay. Is there anybody else waiting, Adrienne?
Gigi, if I'm not sure if I said that name correct, you are up next.
Yeah, it's Gigi.
Oh, thank you.
See me?
Yeah, we can.
Get out.
Get out.
I already told her once, like I'm on a call. Okay.
That's awesome.
One, I'm on the site right now on ScholarshipOwl, and I haven't logged in a while, and I'm being to sign up for the 7-day trial because I have 16 scholarships I am applicable for, but it's only showing me those 16, and I can't go to the normal screen I usually can. I'm not sure. Do I have to have the membership or whatever, the paid for one?
You should be able to get a free trial. Have you tried to get a free trial in the past, or is this your first time?
This is my first time. I've never been asked.
Oh, okay. Let me add something to there. It's probably going to ask you for some kind of credit card. And what I recommend then is just put a notification so you make sure that it cancels. If you can't catch it, we will always cancel it for you when you send us an email. So don't be scared. If you're one day over, whatever like that, we're not here to do an honest business. So just send us an email and we will cancel your payment and refund you. But keep in mind though, I would recommend you to wait until Wednesday. Because we're starting the competition, and that gives you 7 days to apply for as many as you can. And the more you apply for, the more tickets you get. So let's say you apply for 30, you had 30 chances to win an iPad or a watch or 1 year of free scholarship out. So if you can wait to Wednesday, I personally would.
Yeah.
But if you want to do it today, go ahead.
Yeah, and actually,
good.
Adrian, we should send out a reminder email on Wednesday to all of our webinar participants to say today our competition's starting.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can remind them. Did you have any other questions?
I had one more. Oh yeah. So I've been applying to a lot of like small, like couple thousand or $1,000 scholarships, and it's very discouraging just because like there's just so many and so many people applying them, and I know there are less people applying to like more specific and essay scholarships. Is there a way to like filter that on ScholarshipOwl to like?
Yes. On ScholarshipOwl, you can see the number of applicants for each scholarship who have applied through our system. So let's say you see a scholarship that has 300 applicants, and then you see another one that has 10,000 applicants, and you see one that has 30 applicants, right? So you're going to want to focus on the ones that have fewer applicants because that automatically brings your competition down. So we definitely recommend that you use that process.
I'd be very careful about disqualifying yourself. Be very careful about that, because I see people sabotage themselves like, no, I can't apply for that job because there's so many other good, applicants. Don't think like that. Oh, I don't qualify for it because I don't have enough experience. In most jobs, applicants that comes in don't have enough experience. I mean, don't let them say no. Don't have you say no. Let them say no. And don't think, just apply for everything you can and start with the ones that has the fewest applicants and then work yourself up. But I would almost say this. It's like if you apply regularly, have a regular schedule. Let's say you apply for a week and you do that consistency, your chances grows exponentially, because the same thing with homework, same thing in most things in life is consistency. Don't do the sprint, okay, where you're just like, okay, I apply for 10 now and done and you forget about it. No, keep doing it, because as you keep doing it, you also get better and you do it faster, and it will also increase your volume over time. And that's really, I can tell you, everyone it's so weird, because the people on a platform that do win, they win a lot. And the ones that doesn't win wins nothing. Like, how does that work? Does the universe, it's almost like the universe is like conspiring against giving you scholarships if you put the effort towards it. No, I think there's a thing, because we always say the same thing. It's like, why did that student win again? Like, we always ask that question. It's because the student is always trying to consistently apply. And that's the biggest advice I can give to you.
Yeah,
That's very
I agree too. I'll just say one more thing. We all see these stories on the news. We've all seen them, right? The student, was offered $500,000 in scholarships, and they are in the media, and it's very exciting, and it's like they got accepted to every college they applied to. You hear these wonderful stories. These are real people, and a lot of people say, well, they're just lucky. How did that person get lucky? And what I say is, no, that person earned it. That person worked hard. They applied to tons of scholarships. They applied to colleges. They worked hard on their essays. They did all the right things. That's why they got all the scholarships, and that's why they got all the admission offers. So that's something we feel very strongly here at ScholarshipOwl. We can tell you that the people who are winning in our platform are working at it. They're not just lucky.
Gotcha.
Which is why we're doing the
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're frozen, Adrian. At least for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Where you are. But he was saying that's why we're doing this competition, because we know that if we can encourage students to actually apply for scholarships in our platform, you guys are going to win money. You're going to earn it. And that's what we want. It's less for us about giving the prize, and it's more about seeing more students on our platform actually applying to scholarships and earning those scholarship dollars.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you. Very glad I came to the webinar.
You're welcome. I'm so glad.
So,
All right.
Good luck, Gigi.
Adrian,
you.
you have somebody else for us? Adrian.
He's frozen again.
Yeah. Okay, well, while he figures that out, I'm going to just look here in the chat and see if I can see some questions here. Okay, let's see.
Looks like Dana's got an interesting question.
Oh, yeah, if you see one, go ahead, go for it.
So Dana was the one who said that her microphone isn't hooked up or something, but she did put a question that's really interesting and relevant for an awful lot of high school seniors as well as students who are just starting their freshman year. She says, What's the general consensus regarding staying put instead of moving to the town where your university is located? Since they've already said that spring 21 would be virtual, why move? That's a really good question, and really, has some urgency to it. Jen, what do you think?
Well, my own feeling is that you have to sort of just do what you think is best for yourself. A lot of colleges are going to still be staying online in the spring. Most have not announced that they're going to do that, but then we all saw that same thing happen in the fall, right? And many colleges said, oh yeah, we're going to have a certain percentage of students online, and they gave it a whirl, and then COVID was being transmitted, and then they started sending students home. We don't know when a vaccine will be available. There's a lot of talk that it may be available before the end of 2020. But even if it is, they say they're going to roll it out to the people who need it most first. So that would be healthcare workers, essential workers, people who are truly vulnerable to this condition. So, people who have pre-existing conditions, the elderly. We already know that college students are less susceptible to serious illness. So college students will not be in that first group to get the vaccine. So I think, unfortunately, there's a high likelihood.
Did she drop off for you, Mark?
No, she's still, I can't hear her at all.
I can't hear her either. Somehow, yeah. Jennifer, you dropped out. We're having some technical issues here.